Welcome back to my YouTube channel, friends, where we explore the fascinating world of cognitive psychology. In today's video, we will delve into the distinctive research methods used by cognitive psychologists to understand how humans think. To better understand the specific methods used by cognitive psychologists, one must grasp the goals of research in cognitive psychology. The goals of research in cognitive psychology can be summarized into several key aspects that are data gathering, data analysis, theory development, hypothesis formulation, hypothesis testing, and the potential application of findings in real world settings outside the research environment. So let's explain the goals of research in cognitive psychology and the challenges faced by cognitive psychologists with some example. Okay, so what is data gathering? For example, a cognitive psychologist conducts an experiment to investigate the effect of sleep deprivation on memory. Participants are randomly assigned to either a sleep deprived group or a well rested group. The psychologist will then collect data by administering memory tests to both groups and recording their performance. So this is data gathering. Now comes data analysis. For example, after collecting the data from the memory experiment, the cognitive psychologist analyzes the results using statistical techniques. They compare the average scores of the sleep deprived group with the well rested group to determine if sleep deprivation has a significant impact on memory performance. So this is data analysis. Then there will be theory development. For example, based on previous research and observations, a cognitive psychologist develops a theory. For example, in this case, it is called attentional load theory to explain how attention affects cognitive tasks. The theory proposes that when attention is divided between multiple tasks, cognitive performance decreases due to limited cognitive resources. Then there will be hypothesis formulation. For example, building on the above attentional load theory, a cognitive psychologist will then formulate a hypothesis that predicts that participants who are multitasking will have a lower accuracy and slower response times compared to those focusing on a single task. Then there will be hypothesis testing. That is, for example, to test the same above hypothesis as already mentioned, the cognitive psychologist will then design an experiment where participants are asked to complete a memory task while simultaneously solving math problem, for example. They will compare the performance of participants engaged in multitasking with those focused solely on the memory task to determine if the hypothesis holds true. Okay. So these are the basic goals of the research methods used in cognitive psychology. But there are some few challenges. There are some challenges faced by cognitive psychologists as well. For example, imagine a cognitive psychologist observes that individuals who engage in meditation have better attention and focus. But merely describing this relationship is insufficient. To explain why meditation improves attention, the psychologist would need to explore the neural mechanisms involved also, such as changes in brain activity or the modulation of attention networks. So let me give you one more example with regard to challenge that cognitive psychologists face while inferring observations. For example, if a cognitive psychologist has to investigate the effects of gaming on spatial cognition, and they observe that individuals who play action video games perform better on spatial tasks compared to non-gamers. But to go beyond this observation, the psychologist would need to infer underlying mechanisms as well, such as the impact of gaming on cognitive processes like attention, visual spatial skills, or neural plasticity. Hence, by addressing these challenges and utilizing various research methods, cognitive psychologists make progress in understanding the complexities of human cognition and uncovering the underlying mechanisms and explanations behind thinking process. So now we will explore the various methods employed by cognitive psychologists to study cognition. These methods include laboratory experiments, psychobiological research, self-reports, case studies, naturalistic observation, and computer simulations with artificial intelligence. Each method has its own advantages and disadvantages. So by the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of these methods and their advantages and disadvantages. Now let's focus on the first method, that is experiments on human behavior. That is experiments that are conducted in laboratory. So in these experiments, cognitive psychologists design controlled settings, often within a laboratory environment, to investigate how certain factors influence cognitive processes. The researchers carefully manipulate independent variables, which are the factors they believe will impact cognition. So what is independent variable? These are the factors they believe will impact cognition, while closely observing and measuring dependent variables. So what is dependent variable? These are the outcomes or response of interest. So to ensure the reliability and validity of their findings, cognitive psychologists must control irrelevant variables by keeping them constant throughout the experiment. These constant variables are referred to as control variables. So by holding them steady, researchers can isolate the effects of the independent variables on the dependent variables they are studying. To conduct an experiment effectively, cognitive psychologists must take certain steps. Firstly, they need to select a representative and random sample of participants from the population they want to study. This helps ensure that their findings can be generalized to a larger group of people. Secondly, researchers must exert rigorous control over the experimental conditions. This involves creating a standardized environment and maintaining consistent procedures for all participants. And when these requisites are met, cognitive psychologists can draw meaningful conclusions about the probable cause and effect relationship between the independent variable, that is the factor being manipulated, and the dependent variable, that is the outcome being measured within the given population. So to illustrate this concept in a relatable way, let's consider an example. Okay, imagine a cognitive psychologist is interested in exploring the impact of background noise on memory recall. So what will they do? They will design an experiment in a controlled laboratory setting. Participants would be randomly assigned to either a quiet or noisy room while engaging in a memory task. The researcher would then measure the accuracy of their memory recall to determine if background noise influences cognitive performance. And then by carefully controlling other variables such as the difficulty of the task or the age of the participants and using a representative sample, the cognitive psychologist can analyze the data and make conclusions about the potential influence of background noise on memory recall. Here it is important to note that while experiments provide valuable insights into cause and effect relationships, they also have limitations. Like factors such as the artificial laboratory setting or the specific sample used may affect the generalizability of the findings. Therefore, cognitive psychologists consider the strengths and weakness of each method when conducting their research, allowing them to employ a combination of approaches to gain a comprehensive understanding of human thinking. Then comes other method, that is psychobiological research. So it is an exciting field where scientists study how our thinking abilities, that is cognitive performance, are related to what is happening in our brains. They use different techniques to explore this connection, which can be grouped into three main categories. The first category involves studying the brains of people who have passed away. You have most probably you have heard the term post-mortem. That is the case. So in this, scientists examine the brains of these individuals and look for observable features that may explain how their thinking worked when they were alive. And then by comparing their cognitive abilities to the characteristics of their brains, researchers can learn more about how our brains influence our thinking. The second category focuses on studying images of the brain. Studying images of the brain. Scientists use special machines to take pictures of the brain in people who have specific problems with their thinking. And then by comparing these images to those of people with normal thinking abilities, researchers can spot differences that may be related to the cognitive challenges observed. Then the third category involves techniques that allow scientists to observe the brain in action while people are doing mental tasks. They use tools like functional magnetic resonance imaging, that is fMRI, to see which parts of the brain are active during specific cognitive activities. And then by looking at these brain activity patterns, scientists can understand which areas of the brain are involved in different types of thinking. For example, let's say a scientist wants to understand how our brains focus on things. Okay, they want to understand the focusing ability of an individual. So they might ask people to do a task that requires paying close attention while scanning their brains with fMRI. And then by looking at the brain images and finding the areas that become more active when we concentrate, the scientist can figure out which parts of the brain are responsible for our ability to pay attention. So, psychobiological research helps us connect the dots between our thinking abilities and what is happening inside our brains. By using these different techniques, scientists can uncover fascinating insights into how our brains support our cognitive skills. Okay. So then comes another research method, and that is self-repose, case studies, and naturalistic observation. So these are additional methods that cognitive psychologists use to delve deeper into understanding how people think. These methods focus on gaining detailed insights into the cognitive processes of individuals and observing their behavior in everyday situations. Like self-repose involve individuals describing their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences related to specific cognitive tasks or processes. In this, participants may be asked to reflect on their problem-solving strategies, decision-making processes, or memory recall techniques. And then by collecting these personal accounts, cognitive psychologists can gather valuable subjective information about how individuals perceive and approach cognitive tasks. Then there is case study. Case studies involve intensive investigations of specific individuals or unique cases. In this, researchers closely examine the cognitive abilities, behaviors, and experiences of an individual or a small group. They may use a variety of methods such as interviews, observations, and analysis of documents or artifacts. Case studies allow researchers to gain in-depth knowledge about the complexities of individual cognitive processes and the factors that contribute to their unique abilities or challenges. Then comes the naturalistic observation. In this, it involves studying cognitive performance in real-world settings rather than in a controlled laboratory environment. Researchers observe and analyze individuals' cognitive processes as they naturally occur in their everyday lives. This method provides insights into how cognitive processes unfold in real-world contexts and how they are influenced by various environmental factors. To illustrate these methods, let's consider an example. Imagine a cognitive psychologist who is fascinated by a child's exceptional mathematical abilities. They may choose to conduct a case study on this child to explore the underlying cognitive processes that contribute to their numerical reasoning skills. The psychologist would spend time observing the child's problem-solving strategies, interviewing them to understand their thought processes, and analyzing their mathematical performance. Through this in-depth examination, the psychologist gains valuable insights into the child's unique cognitive abilities and the strategies they employ to solve mathematical problems. These qualitative methods provide cognitive psychologists with rich and detailed information about individuals' cognitive processes in real-life contexts. However, it's important to note that these methods have limitations as well. For example, self-reports can be influenced by biases or memory inaccuracies. Case studies may not be representative of the general population, and the naturalistic observations may be subjected to the influence of uncontrolled variables. Therefore, cognitive psychologists often use a combination of these methods along with other research approaches to obtain a comprehensive understanding of human cognition. Then comes the other research method, and that is computer simulations and artificial intelligence. So, as we know, computer simulations and artificial intelligence play a crucial role in the field of cognitive psychology, allowing researchers to gain insights into the workings of the human mind. These methods involve creating computer models or programs that mimic human cognitive processes, enabling us to understand how our minds function and how intelligent behavior can be replicated. Imagine a video game designer who wants to develop characters that possess human-like intelligence. To achieve this, they will collaborate with cognitive psychologists to create computer simulations. These simulations are then designed to replicate various cognitive processes such as thinking, reasoning, problem solving, and decision making. By developing these virtual models, cognitive psychologists and game designers can observe and analyze how the characters behave in different situations, allowing them to make adjustments and enhance their intelligence. Then, artificial intelligence also plays a significant role in cognitive psychology. Researchers use AI algorithms and techniques to build intelligent systems that can perform cognitive tasks such as speech recognition, image processing, and natural language understanding. Then these systems are designed to mimic human cognitive abilities and are used in various applications such as virtual assistants, autonomous vehicles, and recommendation systems. For example, consider a virtual assistant like Siri or Alexa. These AI-powered systems use natural language processing to understand and respond to human commands or queries. They are designed to simulate human-like interaction and provide intelligent responses based on their programmed knowledge and algorithms. Hence, computer simulations and artificial intelligence provide cognitive psychologists with valuable tools to investigate and understand complex cognitive processes. By creating virtual models and intelligent systems, researchers can explore how our minds work, test theories, and gain insights into the mechanisms underlying human cognition. These methods have the advantage of allowing researchers to control variables, observe behavior in a controlled environment, and iterate and refine their models for better accuracy. However, it's important to acknowledge that computer simulations and artificial intelligence have their own limitations. While they can simulate certain aspects of human cognition, they may not capture the full complexity and richness of real human thought process. Additionally, the models and algorithms used in simulations and AI systems are only as accurate as the data and assumptions on which they are based. So friends, through this video, we got to know that cognitive psychologists employ a range of methods including experiments, brain research, qualitative approaches, and computer simulations to explore the complexities of human thinking. These diverse approaches enable them to investigate various aspects of cognition and acquire profound insights into the workings of our minds. By studying these real-life situations and harnessing innovative technologies, cognitive psychologists contribute to advancements in fields such as education, healthcare, and technology. Their findings and discoveries shape our understanding of cognition and pave the way for practical applications that enhance human well-being and improve our daily lives. Through their continued research and exploration, cognitive psychologists continue to unravel the mysteries of human thinking, opening new avenues for knowledge and innovation. So that's it for today's video. And if you like this video, kindly subscribe to my channel for more such informative videos. Till then, goodbye.